If you're applying to business school this year, you probably plan to dedicate a significant amount of time to writing your application essays, studying for the GMAT, and preparing for interviews. Those are, of course, all important pieces of the application process. But another critical component of the application that often gets overlooked: your recommendations. In onTrack by mbaMission, we devote an entire module to your letters of recommendation because they're that important. Here's a sneak peek. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that your application essays are important, as are your test scores, your GPA, and so on. But you might not realize just how important your recommendations are. One of mbaMission's executive directors, Katie Lewis, spent years evaluating applications for the Stanford GSB, and from the first day she joined our firm, more than a decade ago, she's been shouting from the rooftops that a candidate's recommendations are the most important component of their application. And this is something I've heard from multiple admissions officers at top programs. In fact, one head of admissions even said to me, if you asked me whether I could make a decision on an applicant without reading their essays, I'd say absolutely. But can I make a decision without the recommendations? No way. Why exactly are these letters so crucial? For the most part, recommendations are the only objective third-party data the AdCom considers when evaluating you. After you submit your resume, test scores, and transcript, and impress them with your carefully crafted essays, hope they'll open your recommendations and be blown away. What does the AdCom look for in a letter of recommendation? First and foremost, business schools are looking for leaders, not academics, so they want to see examples of your leadership skills. After assessing your grades, test scores, and resume, they'll mine your recommendation letters to see whether you stand out from your peers as a leader, measuring you against most MBA programs' key admissions criteria: analytical ability, leadership personal traits like teamwork and collaboration, and commitment to community. Second, they want an enthusiastic endorsement of your performance, not a performance review. You can't really brag about your accomplishments, but your recommenders certainly can, though, as you'll learn in this module, there's an art to their bragging with subtlety. If you come from a highly accomplished, well-represented, or over-represented application group, the AdCom will scrutinize you through a lens of relative differences. They can quickly see the difference between a credible, thoughtful review and a letter that rises to a one-of-a-kind ringing endorsement. Third, admissions committees want concrete evidence that your actions and/or traits have mattered. When discussing a candidate's strengths, a recommender must provide clear proof that those strengths drove or influenced outcomes and identify what those outcomes were. The difference between a positive review and a ringing endorsement doesn't lie in boastful language. It lies in detailed stories and examples of what you've accomplished, the context in which you performed, and the challenges you overcame. Fourth, the AdCom wants to hear that you stand out when compared to your recommenders' high expectations. They want to know how you measured up against your peers, whether that's gauged quantitatively, such as ranking in the top 1, 2, or the top 5% of all employees they've managed, or qualitatively, such as by describing certain distinctive traits of yours as exceptional. Finally, because business schools are academic institutions, the AdCom wants to know that you're open to learning and growing. For this reason, they'll often ask your recommender to comment on how you've responded to constructive feedback. In the coming lessons in this module, we'll discuss who should write your recommendations and the ways in which you can communicate with your recommenders to make sure they're offering the strongest possible endorsement of you. In addition, we'll be discussing the memos that lead to recommendations that allow applicants to stand out, including a careful walkthrough of a ringing endorsement letter. Following this lesson in onTrack, I dig into who should write your recommendations and how to manage your recommenders, and I provide analysis of powerful and not so powerful sample letters. This module is just one piece of our comprehensive onTrack curriculum, which covers everything from school selection to brainstorming to resumes and so much more. And the guidance doesn't end when you receive your acceptances. I'll then walk you through the decision-making process, scholarship and financing options, and how to prepare for MBA internship recruiting. It all starts with your customized learning path. If you're ready to learn more, tap the link to take our introductory questionnaire and receive your personalized plan. We'll see you in onTrack.